Let me tell you something most people would never admit out loud. The way you beat the devil, it deserves its own documentary. No, really. It needs to be studied, dissected, broken down frame by frame, because what you survived wasn't just bad luck. It was full-on spiritual warfare, and if this message makes your soul perk up a bit, you already know. This is for you. You weren't just going through a rough season. Nah, you were under attack, and not just in one area. It was a coordinated hit. Like when a country goes to war and attacks on all fronts, air, sea, land, psychological warfare, you name it. That's what happened to you. The enemy tried to take you out from every angle. Your relationships, targeted. Your finances, in ruins. Your health, shaky. Your peace of mind, hijacked. And you couldn't understand why everything around you seemed to be falling apart all at once. It felt like a black cloud was following you, no matter where you turned. But that cloud wasn't random. That chaos wasn't coincidental. You were never just unlucky, you were marked. The enemy knew who you were before you even fully stepped into it. Your potential threatened everything he had built, and he wanted to snuff out your light before it had a chance to reach others. Let's be real. Sometimes the attacks came from the people closest to you. The betrayal didn't always show up wearing a red cape and horns. Sometimes it looked like family. Sometimes it sounded like a friend. Sometimes it wore a smile, made promises, and walked with you, just to stab you when you turned your back. And still, you didn't fold. The devil thought you'd tap out. He thought if he hit you in enough places at once, you'd give up. He figured, let me take their peace, their people, their money, and their health. Then I'll watch them crumble. But he underestimated the spirit inside of you. What really baffled him was that after all the psychological warfare, all the sickness, all the drama, all the doubt, you still had the nerve to believe. You still held on to something unseen. You didn't turn to bitterness, revenge, or self-destruction. You didn't trade your purpose for comfort. You stayed the course. And people around you didn't get it. They looked at you sideways. They whispered, "How are they still standing?" They didn't understand why you kept showing up, kept praying, kept working, kept believing, even when it looked like life had given you every reason not to. You see, what they don't know is this. You weren't just fighting for yourself. Your survival was about more than your own peace. You were fighting for the people who would come after you, for the ones who would look at your life and say, if they made it, maybe I can too. That's why you were such a threat. Not because you had it easy, but because you didn't give up when it got hard. You became living proof that darkness doesn't win. You showed people that you can lose everything and still not lose yourself. The devil didn't expect you to be this strong. He thought you'd curse the sky and walk away from your calling. He thought he could shame you into silence, that if life hurt bad enough, you'd abandon your truth and lean into his lies. But you didn't. You didn't just endure. You rose, you adapted. You turned pain into purpose. You started creating, teaching, healing, loving, and living. You became the example of what perseverance actually looks like. Not the pretty, perfect version, but the real, messy, scarred-up one. And now you're not just surviving. You're walking in strength. You have a quiet authority about you. People can sense it in your voice. They feel it in your energy. You don't brag about it, but those who've been near you know. You beat something they couldn't even begin to understand. And guess what? The enemy's embarrassed, because after throwing everything at you, after trying to break you on every level, you're still here, stronger, wiser, and more dangerous than ever. Because now, you know who you are, and that kind of awareness, that scares him more than anything. You're not just a survivor, you're a leader, a torchbearer, someone who walks into a room and changes the frequency. You didn't just win the battle, you're shifting the whole war, and others are watching, following your lead, learning how to fight because they saw you win with grace. The devil can't stop what's already in motion. You're walking in a favor he can't touch, in alignment he can't rewrite, and in peace he can't steal. That's why it feels lighter now. That's why the storm passed. You made it. You really did. And you don't need applause. You don't need validation. Because you've already been affirmed in ways that go beyond words. The favor you walk in now, it was earned. In blood, in tears, in silence. And now repeat this prayer with me. Dear God, thank you for giving me the strength I didn't know I had. The kind of strength that only rises when the weight becomes unbearable. When I thought I was on the verge of breaking, you reminded me that I was built to bend but not collapse. Thank you for protecting my spirit during moments when everything around me felt like it was crumbling. When I couldn't make sense of the chaos, you placed a calm in my soul that surpassed all understanding. Even when I was confused, hurting, and wandering in the fog of uncertainty, you whispered direction into my soul. You gently guided me toward peace, even when my heart was heavy and my mind was racing. You reminded me of who I truly was, not through my pain, but through my perseverance, not through my losses, but through the love and power you placed within me. You anchored me in truth when everything else was shaking. Thank you for removing the people who could not go where I was destined to rise. At the time, I didn't understand the loss. But now I see it was protection, divine realignment disguised as disappointment. Thank you for the battles I never even knew I was fighting, the spiritual attacks I didn't see, the traps that never reached me, and the moments I walked into unknowingly guarded by your grace. I owe so much to what you shielded me from. Let me always walk in humility, not with pride, but with holy awareness of the power I've earned through faith, grit, and obedience. May I never forget that I didn't make it here alone. Continue to guard my heart from bitterness and betrayal. Sharpen my discernment so I may see clearly. Light the path ahead of me, and let every step be taken in purpose, not pressure. For those who are still in the thick of their battle, Lord, may my life be a living testimony that peace is possible, that healing is real, that survival is not the end. It's the beginning of transformation. So I thank you, not just for the victory, but for the stretch, the climb, the tears, the silence, and the strength it took to get here. I am grateful. I am still standing. And by your grace, I will keep rising. Amen. If this message spoke to something deep in your spirit, you're not alone. You are seen, you are valued, and you are walking proof that the devil lost. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment telling me what storm you survived. Someone else out there needs to know they're not the only one.